Lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Celtic have just dropped points. Celtic always drop points in December, and it is a meaningless game, but let me just get that volume down. When you look at it, well, the missus, she needs to start putting bets on, because she said at half time it's going to be a draw. We always drop points in November. We always drop 2 points in November. I did say it was going to be a hard game. I didn't see how there was a lot of people out there thinking it was going to be an easy game, especially we're bringing Eminem to Glasgow. The Hood Smokers podcast is bringing Eminem to Glasgow. Woohoo. Where do you go from here? I'm going to say one thing, and there's a guy in a number 7 shirt that quite possibly is the worst number 7 that we've ever had playing in that sacred shirt. He is one of the worst players that I've ever seen in the number 7, and I don't think Louis Palma, he needs to go. So many players, just no urgency in the team today. Let's get into the comment section. In fact, let's first of all, we'll go to the Facebook hasn't. There we go, and we'll jump over to land of Twitterati, see what was in. Terrible performance, and Kyogo cost us 3 points. I'll talk about Kyogo in a minute. Yeah, we'll talk about Kyogo. Can't expect to win when we're that passive in possession, no urgency. Shocking. Get your crap together. A waste of time, absolutely. Yeah, the Celtic fans on the Twitterati are saying that's been coming going forward. No imagination. So easy to block. So many players not at it. When you see the team that Brendan Rodgers did put up today, there's so many players. Palma is garbage. We need to get rid of him in January. Ida is shocking. Don't get me started on Ralston. As if their life depended on. There's so many players today. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the team back up, because I think it's important to see the team, and let's get the team back up on that screen, because it's only once you see the team and we understand exactly what went wrong today. When you look at it, we had Ralston coming at the back. Ralston, we know his limitations. He doesn't do overlapping very well with the winger at all. Too many players just not at it. Yang, a lot of people are saying that he's coming good. I just didn't see it from Yang at all today. McCowan was probably our best player in the first half. Scales, he gets pass marks. Welsh, he got cramp at the end of the game. That's just lack of game time for Welsh. That's the only reason he pulled up with cramp with just a couple of minutes to go and couldn't do anything to get the game going. And then Kyogo. It's no wonder that Brendan Rodgers wants another striker at Celtic. We need to have a striker that puts pressure on the current strikers we have. The current strikers that we currently have at Celtic have no pressure at all. There's no pressure on Kyogo. There's no pressure on Adam Ida, because they know that if one's not playing, the other is playing. We need a third choice striker to come in. And not a backup one. We need a third choice striker like what Martin O'Neill had when he had Larsson, Sutton and Hartson. We need another striker that can compete and push the two of them. Because as it stands just now, Paul Baird says there's no excuses, we should have won that game regardless. When you look at the way that Dundee United did play, I mean, they were basically playing right in front of their 18-yard box, Paul. They were letting us get down the sides, and they set up to not to lose a goal fair play to them, but we should have had better. Yeah, we should have had better. Our players should have done so much better. Kyogo needs to get his shooting boots back, and I've said this before about Kyogo, and people have said, but Larsson missed goals. Kyogo misses a bigger percentage of goals than he scores, and people will say, but Henrik Larsson missed goals. I don't think that Henrik Larsson missed the easy ones as much as what Kyogo does. Kyogo misses the easy chances, the ones that Henrik Larsson's putting away 9 out of 10 times. Kyogo's putting them away 2 out of 10 times, and that's a fact. We all see it. It was a rubbish performance. We've been struggling for weeks. Don't know what it's going to take to change it. Well, thankfully the transfer window is just round the corner, and Brendan Rodgers, hail everyone, we're still unbeaten. We're still unbeaten in the league, and we still went with a clean sheet. Kasper Schmeichel will be sitting back going, well, I did my job as a clean sheet. Stop comparing Kyogo to Larsson. Square Sausage Mick, it's not me that's doing it, it's people in the comment section that have done it in the past. I'm just talking about comments that I've seen on the channel. I'm not comparing them to Larsson. He's nowhere near Larsson, but I'm just going on about comments that I've seen on the channel. Baz, that was bad. Some players need to go. Yes, it was, Eddie. It was. Half the chat this morning must be heavy stoned. Yeah, no, they must be heavy stoned, because they were giving like crazy score lines that Celtic were going to score 4 and Dundee United were going to score at least a minimum of 1. I told you Dundee United wouldn't have a chance of scoring. I mean, they had a... See, when you look at their last game, it was a 7-goal thriller against Motherwell. And they went into this game with just trying to get a lucky break up front. So this time of year, we see a dip in performance, says Boy67. Right, Boy67, we're going to talk about that. We always see a dip in form at this time of year. But the saving grace for Celtic is usually we go into the new year and we've got the little break in Dubai. And the players come back refreshed from the break in Dubai. We don't have that this year. There's no winter shutdown at all. The level of games that Celtic have got in January it's the exact same as what it is in December. It's epic. It's epic the way that the games are coming. Brendan Rodgers, hopefully, we got... We've got to get Baz on the Hood Smokers podcast, and the Hood Smokers had a podcast during the game. Jesus God. Hopefully Brendan Rodgers has identified the players that he wants and that we can make a move for them on the 1st of January. We need a striker from Copenhagen, Kids for Garden or something like that. Yeah, we do. We need to get our signings in quick in January. There's far too many games in January for... And let's give it to Dundee United. They went with a game plan and they executed their game plan for 90 minutes. There's not many teams can actually execute their game plan against Celtic for 90 minutes. They did do that. So, you've got to get a little bit of a heads up and a bit of respect to... Mind you, when I seen that team, I thought there was only one thing for it, and that was for have a pint during the game. Let's get the stats of the game today, which will be absolutely fantastic, I'm sure, as we always do the stats on this channel. And it might shock you, might not shock you. So Celtic had 17 shots in total. We only had 3 shots on target. Once again, our striker had his shooting boots on. You had Yang. I don't know what that was that he tried to put across the box. Was that a shot? Was that a cross? I have no idea what that was. And then Rio Hatate. Rio Hatate had a couple of shots and he didn't get them on target either. Possession, we had 78% possession. We had 814 passes. 814 passes. Our pass accuracy was 90%. Well, people will say, of course it was 90% passing accuracy when they're playing side to side passing, passive, pass back football. There was nobody trying to pass through the middle because it was that tight. Anyway, we had 8 fouls, we had 1 yellow card, and we were offside twice. We had 9 corners, and we weren't able to create anything from the corner. It's the first points that Celtic have dropped in a long time, since Aberdeen at the beginning of the season. And it does keep us at the top of the table on 44 points. Rangers will smell blood because they're sitting on 16 games also, but they're sitting on 35 points. And a good bit of points behind us. And then Aberdeen are sitting in the table. Let's get the league table up on the screen. Where is the league table? So I'll get the league table up. And just to make you smile, we are still top of the league. We're still top of the league looking down on the Rangers. It wasn't such a Merry Christmas spirited gift of goals. It wasn't a gift of goals, but we maintain our lead at the top of the table. Will it be... look, we're never going to drop 9 points between now and the end of the season. But Rangers will say, look, we can, if we can get other teams to do the same and take 2 points, that's all it takes. We keep nudging into that 2 point and getting towards the end of the season. You never know what might happen. Brendan Rodgers spoke around about the game beforehand, saying that, look, there's a couple of people with bugs and all sorts, a couple of people that were injured from the previous week game, and rather than bemoaning about the injuries before the game, and rather than spend the week talking about our injured players and how Rangers players caused the injuries, and the dirty attacking football that they played has put players out for a length of time, Brendan Rodgers and Celtic just got on with it. They did just get on with it. Anyway, let's jump into the comment section and see what you're saying in the comment section, because I don't think there'll be many people coming on the live, because it's always the same, and plus it's Christmas weekend. Pubcat says that was frustrating. We were so far off it creatively. Without our starting 11, we're bang average. Yes. We've got to get Baz on this Hood Smokers podcast. Stephen Johnson's in the house. Anglin Ayrshire says, after January, we usually come out flying. Yes, Anglin Ayrshire, we do, but that's usually after the 2-week break and the winter shutdown. We don't have that this year. That's why I'm thinking that it's a massive. We need to get our transfer business done the first week in January. We need to go out and spend whatever it's going to take to spend to make this team better. Because if we want to finish the league on a high, if we want to get the treble, and if we want to go unbeaten until the end of the season, Anglin Ayrshire, we need to get in some more quality players. Too many players today had an opportunity to shine, and they didn't do that. They didn't shine whatsoever, which is disappointing from our perspective, because Louis Palmer, for me, is a player that should never, ever be wearing the number 7 shirt. He shouldn't be wearing it at all. Somebody needs to go and take that number 7 shirt off him, because he is one of the worst players ever. I don't even want to have him up on the screen anymore. I'm going to get the normal one back up. Where is it? I'll go to that one. Get that one back up, because Lewis Palmer, he needs to go. For someone that thinks he's got delusions of grandeur, if he thinks he's a fantastically good player, because let's face it, he did nothing today. Absolutely, he couldn't even take on players today. So for me, you need to get rid of him. If Brendan Rodgers is looking for an excuse to turn around to the people upstairs and go, this is what happens with the players that we've got in backup, it's just not good enough. But it's still a draw. It wasn't a loss, which we take all day long. Injuries and illness meant we had to make changes. This shows we are not as strong as we think, says Square Sausage Mick. This is true. The Hood Smokers podcast says you could find Parkhead Boy on the Hood Smokers podcast. Official Hood Smoker. There you go. Paul Weir says we move on to the next game. Exactly. This game will be forgotten quickly. It will be forgotten, Paul. But it is a case that we always, statistically, if you look over the years, we always drop 2 points in December. Let's hope that that's out our system. Let's hope that we get everyone back for the next game. And you feel sorry for the young lads that got their chance on the bench for Celtic today, because they never managed to get on any game time. And they'll be like, we're a bad omen, man. The team lost today and we were on the bench. Anyway, Yang, a young player of the year in Korea 2 years ago, showing nothing, said Pubcat. I think that when you look at the fact that he was player of the year in Korea, maybe says a lot about Korean football and the standard of Korean football. The squad is weak when you look at it, says CFC 67. I'm not going to be too negative about today's result. There was a lot of changes today. And it was like earlier in the season. It's not like earlier in the season when we played Falkirk. The changes that Brendan made today were due to injuries and illness. He didn't make the changes because he wanted to try different formations and he wanted to give players chances. We have to put it into perspective. These players aren't going to be injured for the next game. The illnesses will wear off. Everyone will be back fighting fit for the game on Boxing Day back at Celtic Park. I'd rather draw against Dundee United than the Huns. Hopefully we'll be back to full strength squad for the shittery, says Jim F. Mr. Quinn says the most important game is the next one. It is that. And the Hood Smokers podcast is coming out of Detroit. It's freezing in Detroit. Well, there you go. It's coming straight out of Detroit. You're bound to be, if you're into anything that comes out of Detroit, you're bound to be into Octave 1. Now, those two guys, they're classic. They've just finished a tour of Japan and Korea and such like. Anyway, Marvat says, Palmer was good for 3 minutes and then he was scared to take anyone on. The guy's a winger. He's not a winger, he needs to go. What has happened to Hatate, says CFC 67. Paul Baird says, we don't need to show respect to Dundee United, Baz. I'm not showing respect to Dundee United, I'm just saying that fair play to them. They stuck to their guns, Paul. And not many teams statistically manage to play the same game plan for 90 plus minutes against Celtic. That's all I'm saying. I'm not showing respect. The players shouldn't have been showing respect to them. They should have got straight into it. Stuart Ramsey says he didn't enjoy any of that. 112 passes. They were from Scales and Welsh. 700 of them were at the back. McGregor sitting far too deep. McGregor's got to sit deep because there's no one else plays the holding midfield role. I think that Brendan Rodgers, if we could talk about the transfer situation, I think that Brendan Rodgers would like to go in and get a more experienced, older, more experienced in European football holding midfield player, which would allow Callum McGregor to go further forward. I thought Rio Hatate today was as good as what Rio can be. It had some passes that you're thinking, just, the one where he takes the shot. Fair enough, he sees the goal, he should take the shot, but when you've got Kyogo on the other side of the pitch that's standing in the clear with no one near him, you're thinking cross the ball over and let Kyogo do the damage. Brendan Rodgers changing it to a 4-4-2. Is that the way forward for the full 90 minutes for Celtic? Personally, I think it is. I think a change of formation is needed. We played the best part of that game with only one striker in the middle, and I just don't think it works in Scottish football. I think teams like Dundee United are going to sit that narrow on the pitch, and it makes it difficult for anyone. We do need two strikers on the pitch, and I think Brendan Rodgers will know that also. Big Des says, still unbeaten though, on top of the league, looking down on the Sevco. Yes, we are. Soapy Van Shuey says, Hatate Gas, his head has turned ever since Ange has left. He's not interested. Still top, says the Hood Smokers. Stop whining. Winning. The wind was a factor today, Baz, for crosses into the box were concerned. It's not even the crosses into the box. It was trying. I think that we need to play with two strikers when we're in Scottish football. There's no need to play one through the middle when you've got 3 and 4 defenders sitting in the middle of the pitch in the box. It's Kyogo. We've either got to be really, really quick, or we've got to be spot on with our passing, and we were neither today. Pubcat says, luckily it's 2 home games before the trip to Snake Mountain in January. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. McGregor needs dropped. He's been garbage for weeks now. Interesting. I don't think McGregor was at fault today because nothing was coming through the middle of the park. McGregor excels when we manage to play through the middle of the park. When the whole Dundee United team are in this much of a gap, and they're leaving this much at the wings open. They were giving Celtic all the room down the side of the pitch, both sides of the pitch. When everything's through that side, it's hard for McGregor to then get players to pass forward to. It's not easy. I've been watching games like this from Brendan for the first time. Calmack did play further forward. We did have Scott Brown. 2 strikers is a must, says Murphy. Yes, it is a must. I think so. Reggie McGregor needs dropped off. Some of our fans are nuts, man. Parkhead Boy says, P. O'Neill Baz answering for me. Oh, Jesus. Some man. Anyway, let's see what some of the headlines, some more honking. As a neutral, I've never seen him pass sideways so much and not get a ball in the fucking box. Awful to watch. Yes. It was. We need a striker. Kyogo is nowhere near what he was, says Gary. I think we do need a striker. Brendan Rodgers will need a striker. When will it stop? The ball backward FC afraid to run at players. Absolutely embarrassing. Lucky to get a point? I don't think they were lucky to get a point. Get Palmer shot. He's not good. Off day, second strong team. Big players didn't show up. Shocking substitutions from Brendan. McCown, our best player of the first half, needed more from Adam Ida. Kyogo needs benched. Team needs freshened. Kyogo can get benched all he wants, but then you bring on Adam Ida. If you bring on Adam Ida's under no pressure. Both Kyogo starting to get eerie, I think. Ida. There's no pressure on both the strikers. No pressure whatsoever. They know that they're going to get game time. They know if one starts, I'll be on in the 70-minute mark. There's no pressure on them at all. We do need a good third choice striker that's going to push the two of them. And I would love it. We need someone that's a bit more prolific. I would love it if Brendan went out and got a decent striker to come in. So the fact that they can both put a little bit of pressure on Kyogo and Adam Ida. But anyway, at the end of the day, we are still sitting top of the table. Remember, it's not too late if you want to still try and get something for Amazon for the missus or the hubby or whatever. You do have the One Celtic Fans View. We also have the website. I'll notice thank you to the people who are buying merch off the website today. I will get round to updating all that over the next week or so. And how long have we been on? Not long. It's always the same after we drop points. Paul Baird says, Jamesy boy, they were shite today. William McLaughlin says, Brendan Rodgers has been saying time and time again, we have a strong squad. Today we haven't. We are struggling for weeks now. Yeah, we have, haven't we? P. O'Neill says, McGregor needs dropped. We've been garbage for weeks. McGregor wasn't at fault today. Let's not put the blame on the defence today. There was nothing wrong with our defence today. I don't think that Scales or Welsh did anything wrong, to be honest. Not a thing. They weren't tested in any way. But no, you can't put anything on Scales and Welsh. Welsh will feel a bit upset that he come off with a calf strain. That would just be cramp. But that's due to lack of game time. That's just purely down to the lack of game time. If you can get the balls into our strikers, then what's the point of having two strikers? Mad Mac, I think if you've got two strikers in the box for 90 minutes, it gives us more options. When you've got so many defenders in and around the box, it's difficult for Kyogo or Adam Ida. Johnny Kenny, Parkhead boy. Is he the answer? Bring back Jota. We definitely need to bring back someone with a bit of pace on the wings. And not just the wings. I think we need it in midfield as well. Even though we'll have an abundance of player for the midfield. He was unlucky. Kyogo's still the man. We need to strengthen over. Thought Welsh was good. Welsh has done himself no harm at all, but he will go out on loan because he's not going to get enough of the game time at Celtic. P. O'Neill says, by the way, Baz, I can speak Espanol, just for your information. regarding St Stephen's Day. But there you go. We need a quality number 10. Yeah. Highlights once again that we have more first team players when the window opens. So let's hope we're getting soon. At least some of the squad guys got game time. Still home without a defeat. Yep, that's the one positive we could take today. The positives to take from today is we got a clean sheet at the back and we're undefeated. It's always when you win the way that we always do. And I did say that I wasn't going to make any predictions till we saw the team that came out. Even once the team came out, I still thought that we would win 2-0. Dundee United away, early kick-off, squad players due to flu. Exactly, it's a point gained. It is that. Anyway, that is me done and dusted for the day. There's not really much more to talk about, is there? We kind of covered everything. When we see what Celtic headlines are coming out there, I'll just grab them in a second. We've done the stats. This will be fantastic reading. Celtic left and due to rue of Kyogo chances with a stalemate at Tannadice. Sluggish Celtic held by a dogged Dundee United as Brendan Rodgers left frustrated and Tannadice debut. The three talking points the Daily Record is going on about. Celts held to Tannadice after goalless draw. That's the official Celtic site. So we'll see what palaver and what nonsense the Celtic site are coming out with. Celtic were held to a goalless draw at Tannadice by a resilient Dundee United side in the final match before Christmas as the Hoops dominated the domestic run. Dominant and domestic run continued despite dropping points for only the second time this season. Brendan Rodgers made 5 changes to the side that triumphed in last weekend's cup final with illness, injuries, sidelines alike, Alistair Johnson and Nico Kuhn. This gave opportunities to Anthony Ralston, Stephen Welsh to step into the starting 11. Remarkably, it was Brendan Rodgers' first visit to Tannadice as Celtic manager, a venue steeped in iconic Celtic moments over the years. It was also a match that marked 10 years since Dundee United last defeated Celtic, a victory which came courtesy of a Stuart Armstrong goal. Since then, Celtic have maintained a 19-encounter unbeaten run at Tannadice, extended further despite the frustrating afternoon from the visitors. The opening exchanges were subdued, both sides acclimatised to the dry but chilly conditions in Dundee. Oh, Jesus God, this guy's read a book, eh? And Celtic carved out their first chance within the 9th minute with Callum McGregor picking out Dyson Maeda, but the Japanese forward couldn't control his run and the opportunity fizzled out. When you look at that shot from Dyson, well, it was more a pass back than a shot, wasn't it? I mean, if he had connected with that in the back of the net all day long, but it didn't. Luke McCowan making his first return to Tannadice following his summer move from city rivals Dundee also tested out the Dundee United defence with a left-footed shot that zipped just wide past the post. Celtic's best opportunity of the first half came in the 27th minute with Kyogo's curling effort narrowly missing the corner. The incisive pass from McGregor. Despite Celtic's increasing dominance, they lacked precision in the final third, and the first half ended goalless with neither side registering a shot on target. Both teams resumed unchanged after the interval when Dundee United had the first chance of the second through Miller-Thompson, whose effort was easily gathered by Kasper Schmeichel. Celtic substitutes added fresh impetus with Adam Ida, Lewis Palmer, who should never wear this number 7 shirt again, replacing Luke McCowan and Yang on the hour mark. Adam Ida was introduced, nearly paid off dividends with a snapshot sailed just wide, momentarily lifting the travelling support. Anthony Ralston's pinpoint lofted past the Dyson Maeda in the 76th minute almost broke the deadlock, but Jack Wilson produced a fine save to tip Maeda's looping header over the bar. Celtic came close again with Kyogo found himself through on goal, only to see his shot smothered with the advancing Walton. Late substitute Arne Engels also had a cracker of a chance. He toe pointed it towards goal, and the shot was saved by the keeper. The keeper must have got man of the match. Despite the late pressure from Celtic, couldn't find the decisive moment as Kyogo's final attempt as the game drifted, the game just drifted, didn't it? The draw means Celtic remain unbeaten domestically, extending their run to 32 games since their defeat to Hearts in March. While the result sees them drop points for only the second time of the season, Brendan Rodgers continues to lead the Scottish Premiership table. 9 points as they head into the festive period. It was 11 points. But yes, it's down to 9 points in the league. But anyway, the subs that came on was Palma, Aida, Alex Baye didn't get on, Sinisalo didn't get on, Norobski didn't get on, Engels got on, Paulo Bernardo get on, but young Bonner and young Donovan didn't either. That is all that is coming out of Celtic today. Baz, are you doing any more lives before Christmas? Yes, Parkhead Boy. There will be a live tomorrow night at 8 o'clock as per normal. Monday evening and Christmas Eve. Will even be one Christmas Eve, I think. Maybe. I'll see how I'm feeling. But yeah, no, it'll be business as usual, mate. I don't stop. It'll be business as usual. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. There's only 46 thumbs up and there's been over 895 people. Just jumped up. 895 people have been on the live so far. Big Daddy says, remember, hit the likes button, troops. Expand the community. Celtic-minded people. Share it to all your friends. McCowan was trying harder. Always lose points in December. Mick Celtic will always lose points in December. Let's hope that that's it's done and dusted. Cheers, Baz and troops. Says Paul O'Neill says he studied Spanish in university. Not made this lingo that expats speak. There you go, mate. Good for you. Anyway, that's me done and dusted for today. I will be back tomorrow morning with the Celtic news. It's going to be great tomorrow, isn't it? Yay. Way. Anyway, still top of the league, looking down on the Rangers. That's all that really matters. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic evening, day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.
Lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party.